Hello everyone, welcome to Scott's NBA Talk. I want to talk about some of the off-season moves that are very interesting. The Minnesota Timberwolves really stepped up. You know, when they acquired Jimmy Butler, they added Jimmy Butler, Jamal Crawford, Jeff Teague and Taj Gibson. I mean, they really... It's like they got a couple of pieces back when Tom Thibodeau was coaching for the Chicago Bulls. You know, Butler and Gibson, both good defenders. You know, I mean, Timberwolves are stacked. I mean, they've got Jeff Teague at your point. You got probably Butler will play shooting guard. Andrew Wiggins at small forward. Probably either Taj Gibson or Gorgie Dang will play your power forward, and then Karl Anthony Towns. Then you've got Jamal Crawford coming off the bench. I mean, this team is... That was a really good move on draft night, getting Jimmy Butler, and then even getting the 16th pick. So, Minnesota's going to have a very interesting season. Now, that's one of the moves. Another move was the Oklahoma City Thunder. They traded off Victor Oladipo after giving him, I think it was like a 4-year extension. It was like $68 million. I don't remember. They traded him off, and Donis Sabonis, I think is his name, to Indiana for Paul George. I mean, that OKC's going to be good. I mean, they're going to be better than last year. You know, now you got Russell Westbrook, you got Paul George, who isn't going to be quite as demanding with the ball as, say, Kevin Durant was. Then they also added, in free agency, they added a stretch 4 in Patrick Patterson, who is a decent defender. He's not great, but he's decent. You know, so you've got, Russell Westbrook, MVP last year, triple-double. I think he'll average another triple-double. I think he'll go back-to-back and average triple-doubles. That would be real impressive. I don't know if that's been done 2 years in a row, but I think Russell Westbrook could do it. Now you got Paul George and Patrick Patterson, along, with Enes Kanter and Steven Adams. I mean, no, OKC's not going to win the whole thing. And they also added Raymond Felton, so that's a backup. Not great, but he's an okay player. So it's an okay backup for Russell Westbrook. So OKC made some very interesting moves. The Houston Rockets. Now, I think it's going to be interesting to see how well Chris Paul and James Harden will play together. The Clippers pretty much did, I think, is like a sign and trade. So they signed and then they traded Chris Paul to Houston for Patrick Beverley, who's a hard-nosed defender, Sam Decker, and Lou Williams. So Clippers aren't going to be as good, I think, as, they did re-sign Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, but I don't think they will be as good as they were last year. But Houston Rockets, that's gonna make me wonder, because James Harden likes to have the ball in his hands, and so does Chris Paul. So now it makes me wonder if they're gonna put James Harden as a spot-up shooter or something. And you still got, the Rockets still got Trevor Ariza, Ryan Anderson, Clint Capella, Montrezl Harrell, I guess that's how you say his name. So they got some. Then they also added P.J. Tucker. So that's going to be very interesting to see. So Houston, it'll be fun to see how well Chris Paul and James Harden will be in the backcourt. Can they become one of the, up there with Steph and Clay's best backcourt? I don't know, but could be interesting to see. But Chris Paul isn't always looking to score. He can score if he needs to, though. Chris Paul will get others involved, so that could be good. But I think Houston's assist totals could be very high next year. if they both get people involved. I don't know how that's going to work, but find out. Now, who else was it? Boston Celtics. Now, I gotta admit, I did not like that they traded off Avery Bradley. I actually, and I know there are going to be people going to hate my comment here. I think they should, even though this guy scored, what was it, 28 last year? I think they should trade off Isaiah Thomas. Why? Are you going to want to throw $200 million at someone who cannot defend? I mean, he's 5'8", 5'9". He's not the greatest defender. I mean, yeah, he could score, which I guess you do need to score, but, like, Avery Bradley can defend. You know, and you got a first-round pick next year. You can always go get a point guard if you wanted to. But I guess, you know, they thought, well, let's get rid of Avery Bradley. So that's like, when you used to have Avery Bradley and Jay Crowder as defenders. But they got rid of Avery Bradley, I believe, to get Gordon Hayward. Now, that Gordon Hayward will be interesting. I think Utah's going to fall off a little bit because of not having him. They may still possibly make the playoffs, but they're going to fall off. They're not going to win their division. But Boston, you know, when they drafted Tatum, okay, they got Jay Crowder, Jaylen Brown, and then they added Gordon Hayward. So I'm wondering where they're going to play, who, where. You know, is somebody who's going to play the 2, who's going to play the 3? Going to play the 4, if anybody going to play the 4. Then they picked up Marcus Morris. You know, so I don't know. But it will be interesting to see how well Isaiah Thomas, Gordon Hayward, and Al Horford will be together. Now Isaiah Thomas is a free agent next year, so are they going to throw all that money at him? I don't know if I would. I mean, that's going to be. I'd rather have cap space. I mean, yeah, you got a guy score 28 a game, but I don't know. The guy can't defend, but I guess I don't know. Trying to think who else it was. Denver Nuggets added Paul Millsap. Now that's going to be very, very interesting too, because I think that's going to mean Kenneth Faried's going to go to the bench unless they're going to play Paul Millsap at small forward. You got Nikola Jokic, who's a pretty good passer for a center. He can pass like a point guard. I mean, he's one of the best big men passers. So you got Jokic, you got Paul Millsap. I think they still got, unless he's a free agent, maybe, I don't know if they're going to have Wilson Chandler. Then you've got Gary Harris, you know, Jamal Murray. So, I mean, I think the Millsap move will make Denver just a little bit better. Now, I don't know if they'll make the playoffs. They might. But I really like that signing for them. I think it's a very interesting signing. The Golden State Warriors is another big winner this offseason. Oh my gosh, they had an amazing offseason. I mean, they brought back JaVale McGee, who I thought did really good for him. Yes, he's on Shaq and a Fool a lot, but I mean, he does some great things for him last year. I think they also brought back Zsa, but they also added Jordan Bell through the draft, which very, very interesting. So now they're going to be deep at power forward and center. So they added Nick Young, or better known as Swaggy P, although I used to call him Staggy P in LA. So that'll be crazy. So they're going to be pretty stacked. Who else did they add? Omar Caspi, they added him. So this team is going to be deep. They brought back Iguodala for like 3 years. I think it was like $48 million. And they brought back Sean Livingston. So not only they got their starters, they got their bench. Their bench got deep. I think Golden State is going to repeat as champs. I just can't see how they won't. Because Cleveland's going to have too much drama. Will Kyrie be traded and all that? So, Golden State really, to me, made some very, very interesting moves. Another team that, to me, made really interesting moves. The Philadelphia 76ers. They, not only did they draft Markelle Fultz, you know, they got Embiid, Saric, Ben Simmons. I can't wait to see what he's going to do. Then they signed J.J. Redick for like 1 year. I think it's like $23 million, which I know a lot of people are like, that's a lot of money. It's 1 year though, so that's going to come off the books if it don't work. But that's going to be a sharpshooter, just going to open up the floor, you know. If Embiid goes into the paint, you know, or Simmons, you got a shooter to kick it out to. And you also got Stauskas coming off the bench, so you got another shooter. Covington at times can hit, so, you know, you've got some shooters. Saric can hit, so you've got some shooters on this team. And you've got, you know, I mean, I can't wait to see what Joel Embiid's going to do in the second year. I hope he gets to play like at least 60 or more. I want to see him play all 82. But I mean, even if he's got to take 5-10 games off for rest, you know, I think the Sixers can make the playoffs with this team. And this is a pretty young core. They also added, not only they added J.J. Redick, they added Amir Johnson for like, I think it was 1 year, like 11 or 12 million. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't have all the facts in front of me. But 1 year, I mean, so they did a couple of 1 year. I was afraid that Brian Colangelo was going to throw like 4 or 5 years at somebody, you know, and waste a bunch of money, you know. If you're going to throw 4 or 5 years at someone, you know, it better be something like, well, even though he was not a free agent, it better be someone like DeMar DeRozan or something, or a really good 2-guard or something who's not injured a lot. I think Sixers had a really good offseason. I think they're going to be very exciting to watch. You know, so, I mean, it's going to be very, very, very interesting to see the Sixers. And what Joel Embiid's going to do, you know, the second year. And then you're going to have Simmons as a rookie, and you're going to have Fultz as a rookie. So you're going to have 2 potential, again, Rookie of the Year candidates. And I think one of them could win it. Now, I'm not sure which one I think, but it could be very interesting. So the Sixers have added, I think they've got a good shot at least, you know, probably finishing 3rd in their division. I mean, and maybe they could be a 5, 6, 7, or 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. So they had a pretty good offseason. I was really impressed. I was trying to think who else I had in my head that had a Sacramento kind of. Now they're not going to make playoffs. They're going to make a bunch of noise. But, you know, they drafted De'Aaron Fox. I think that's really good. They signed George Hill. I think it was like 3 years and something. So, if you're not sure on Buddy Hield, you could go Fox and George Hill in the backcourt. Now, I think you gotta try. Maybe you do start George Hill and let Fox learn, and then you put, you know, Buddy Hield at shooting guard. They also added Vince Carter, which he's playing pretty good. I think he was like 40 years old, and he's still playing like he's 30-something. And, okay, he's probably not quite as athletic as he used to be, but he's still playing pretty good ball. And, I don't know why other teams didn't jump on Vince Carter. You probably could have got him pretty cheap. Then they added, Zach Randolph, although recently I just read he got arrested for possession of, you know, selling marijuana. You know, so now I don't know what's going to happen there. But But, I mean, Sacramento's not going to make no playoffs or anything, but, I mean, they had some decent moves. New Orleans Pelicans. Now, I gotta admit, they brought back Drew Holiday, which, when he's healthy, he is good. But my only fear about that was, will he stay healthy? If he stays healthy, Pelicans gonna be good. I mean, they got Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins. I can't wait to see them two play a whole season together. Then you've got Drew Holiday. Then they added Rajon Rondo, so I'm curious to see what that's going to do. I mean, you could go Rondo at the point guard, Drew at the 2, I forget who their small forward is right off the top of my head, but Anthony Davis and then DeMarcus Cousins. They could be an okay team. But I think Rondo's gonna maybe add a little to him. So to me, those are the team. I'm gonna add one more team. Now I don't think this team's gonna make the playoffs. I have them finishing 32-50 actually, but they may finish better than I think. I'm gonna add the Orlando Magic to that list, and I know there'll be some people like, well, you live in Orlando, you're gonna think that. Well. Yes, they ain't gonna get no, big, huge names, but they got some pretty good pieces this time compared to last year. I think this team's better than last year. And I really had them making playoffs last year. Now, I don't have them making it this year, but they may shock me. But, Orlando Magic added Shelvin Mack for 2 years. That's a decent signing. So now you got 3 people at point guard. You could play one of them at 2 guard if you need to. Excuse me. So you got Shelvin Mack. Then you got added. Now I thought this was a pretty big pickup. Jonathan Simmons. To me, I thought he was borderline. He could have been a borderline star for the Spurs. Right? I don't understand why the Spurs went for Rudy Gay instead of going for Jonathan Simmons. But the Magic went and got Jonathan Simmons. And he could defend, so that's going to help the Magic defensively there. I really like that signing. And Maurice Spates. He used to play for the Warriors and the Sixers and the Clippers. I really like this guy, coming off the bench. I mean, if, say Vooch goes down or Gordon goes down, you can start Spates. And I think Spates is going to really help the bench, big time. And it's going to add some. I mean, the bench is, to me, already better than last year. They took away C.J. Watson, who was good in small spurts, very small spurts. So, I think the Magic upgraded, but like I said, I think they're going to win it 32-50. They're not going to make the playoffs. So, who, in your opinion, had the best offseason? Name me a team or teams you think had a great offseason. Send me your comments and your thoughts, and thank you. And hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching Scott's NBA Talk.